Hello.
Oh, I don't think we have sound.
Well, I haven't said anything yet, so you can go check now. Just no, but come back and tell me. All right, we're just trying to make sure we've got everything all set up. All right. Well, I'm not sure if I've got sound now or not. Yes, the feedback was there just to wake people up. Can people hear me now? All right. Okay. Well, I think today what I was thinking of doing is actually just drawing a figure in motion, right? So some people had asked about doing some sports figures and things like that, and I thought that would be good. It's also helpful if you're, drawing a superhero in motion, or if you're any of those things. So what we want to do is, like we've been doing, to start most of the time, we will start with just doing some warm-ups, right? So drawing some simple shapes, right? And so do those different sizes, right? And then get your wrist going, just sort of to loosen up. I don't know. I know that some of you have just sort of been working on schoolwork, and so maybe your brain is stuck in math class or LA or whatever you were doing, and so it's a good thing just to, to just doodle. And it doesn't have to be anything. I know in my sketchbooks, most of the pictures are just, they make no sense, and they're just doodling, and I like to do that just to get thinking. So, all right. So we're gonna draw someone on the run. And so to do that, one of the things we have to remember is a lesson that we did a while back, where we talked about one of the ways to make sure that your picture looks good is to make sure everything is in order, right? So everything is, the right proportion. And so that's what I'm gonna do right now, is just to do that. Okay, so remember we said that if we say that someone's got a head that big, right? So if that's someone's head, then we said usually the body is about another 6 or so heads, right? So it'd be like total 7 heads stacked on top of each other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is good, right? Now, one of the things that will make your body look better is if you actually draw it so that the arms are the right length. And usually what we're talking about then is that if you're about 6 or 7 heads this way, then you would be the same this way, right? So that usually, that would make for a good body length. If we look at how wide you are, right? So if we sort of go like this, right? Usually you would be a couple of, right? Usually your body is a couple of heads, right? So if you're like a guy, if you're drawing a man, they're usually a little bit thicker in the shoulders, so their shoulders are like 2.5 heads, in length, right? So that's one way of doing it. And then like a head from the shoulder to the arm, a head from from the elbow to the wrist and things like that. So if we've got that, then this is how long an arm is, right? And basically this is how long legs are, right? So there's an arm and an arm. When we draw a stick man, right, then we want to keep those proportions, right? So this length should be this length, right? And so then if we bend it, we should keep those lengths the same. And that's what we're going to do a lot of today, right? Is we're going to draw, basically someone running. And when we draw them running, right, we're still going to keep all those head proportions, right? So that they all look right. And so this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, I kept that same. And this should be, basically 3 heads this way. So it's all about trying to make sure that I keep my my proportions right. And that's what's going to make me have a good looking athlete, superhero, or maybe just a mom on the run. So anyways, I have to admit, I just finished sending my final exam out to my anthropology students, like I teach, and so my brain is not in the drawing space yet. But we'll have some fun anyways. Okay, so one of the things I talked about before is I like to use books, right? This is a book that I have. I've had several different copies of it, and I really like it because it's got lots of good examples of how you can draw different things and how to make sure you've got, the proportions right. And one of the things about proportions is that when we're drawing a cartoon, right? So if we're trying to make something a little bit funnier, we're going to take those proportions and we'll play with them a bit. And so maybe we'll make legs longer, or we'll make the shoulders wider so that they look stronger. But let's just draw someone. We'll draw a person just running, and then we'll draw someone running in a cartoon way, right? So again, if we start, I'm just going to use the yellow. Hopefully, I'm not sure if that's going to show up. Is that going to show up? No, that doesn't show up, does it? I had to move my stuff the other day. I was trying to clean up. Anyway, just let me just grab my green. All right. Okay. So we'll use this. It's a blue. Okay. And again, so this is to show what we would be doing, to make it nice and light. And maybe that's too bright. Okay. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to try and figure out, how much of the space I'm going to use. And so what I'll do is I'm just going to draw. I'll draw the head. So remember, we draw the head with kind of a squished oval. Right? And then what we'll do is we'll use that head and we'll draw the body, right? Just as a stick man, right? So we'll go 1, 2, 3, right? Like that. And then we'll draw sort of that, like that. Okay. And we'll draw an arm. And usually when you're running, your arms kind of go in different directions. But again, my head is sort of how I'm making sure I've got that. Right? So okay. And my my hands are kind of the same. My hands and my feet should be the same. Okay. So now what I've got is I've got the skeleton. And so that's kind of the basic part that I'm going to draw. And so let's make sure we do the same thing, right? Where we draw nice and lightly. So this person's going to be kind of looking in this direction. So we're going to do that side profile, which means we don't have to split it down the middle, right? But we're going to take that head and split it in half, and then this in half, and then that space in half. And then we've got sort of the basic idea of what we're going to have for the face, right? And then all I've got to do is I just got to put some meat over top of this, right? So I would draw this nice and lightly. And so your body is thicker than your arms, and your arms are not as thick as your legs. Right? So I'm going to draw this one being up front, right? If you're running really hard, maybe you close your hands into a fist. Remember, we talked about that when you want to draw a hand, sometimes it's easiest just to make the shapes, and it's really kind of a box, right? So that's all I'm doing there. It's just drawing a box in a box, and this is kind of a box too. Okay? And there's my... Is that visible? I'm not sure. Sort of the focus comes in and out. Okay, so let's draw, the eye, and there's the nose, right? If that person's really trying hard, lots of times by the way, I always try and keep a mirror beside me so I can make funny faces into it. But if I'm doing that, running hard, my eyebrows are going to come down. I'm going to be like that, and maybe I'll have my tongue out. Right. And then got that. And then remember, the ear fits between sort of the nose and the ear. And now I've got the head. Right. And remember that my light pencil lines, I don't have to go exactly over them. They're just there for a guideline. And so here we go. Right. I'm going to draw an arm there. I can do that. And this little bit here, that's the thumb. It's a nice, easy way to kind of cheat around, having to draw that thumb. And then I'm going to draw the body. Right. And this arm is behind. Maybe he's wearing a long sleeve shirt. Okay. Again. And feet are just kind of a box, aren't they? And then I can sort of, draw a shoe by kind of flattening it. Kind of looks like a little bit like a French bread. And put some lines there. And that kind of makes it look like we've got shoelaces. And with a hand like that. And like that. Now, what I've done here, you don't have to do it, but it kind of makes it look a little bit realistic, is that here it's hit the ground, and so your foot kind of folds. So that's all I've done with that. And there. Okay, I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see the screen. How's that look? Does that look like... Oh. I see. Okay. I will I'll do that. Okay. I'm sort of running ahead. So, okay, so let's do it again, right? Let's do it again, knowing that that's what it's going to look like. Okay. So if I just kind of okay. So let's start over again, and we'll draw this running guy. Okay. So I draw my head, right? And then I'm just going to draw my stick man. My stick man will have basically, the equivalent of 2.5 or 3 heads. Okay, so I'm just going to draw it like that. And then I'm going to go kind of 2 heads that way, 1, 2, and 1 head down. Okay. And I'm going to go 2 heads that way, so it's that size, 1, 2, and then 1 head that way. That's my leg. From my neck, right? So there's usually a little bit of space there. I'm going to go sort of half a head or 1 head. Let's go 1 head to the shoulder. Then I'm going to go a head to the elbow. Right, so that's a head. Like if I was to lay it out that way, and I will go 1 head that way. Okay, does that make sense? So basically, if I'm looking at this, it's basically a head there, a head there, a head there. The head, a head, a head, a head, a head, a head. So a head, and then we'll go 1 head, 1 head. Well, the head, remember that when we were saying how long the body part is, so someone asked if it's always a sideways head. So it's, the length is like that. And then if we were to draw this, we would go like that. So it is. These lengths are sideways heads because that's when you move it, right? You would still have like that, right? Does that make sense? See, and that's what helps you to make sure that that your body is the right size. It is just by using the head. And like I was saying, everybody's head is a little bit different, and everybody's body is a little bit different, right? So I've got a long torso and I've got short legs, right? So this wouldn't work for me. And other people, they have long arms or short arms, right? So you got to kind of make it a little bit different. But this is just to give you an idea, so that when you're trying to draw, it looks right. Okay. So again, like I said, so then what we're doing is, if we were drawing the face, right, then we just use these proportions to kind of be the outside. And again, if I draw a hand as just sort of boxes and sausages, right? That's what it looks like there. And there. Again, boxes and sausages. Maybe I do it like that. Is that better? God made us all different, so short arms are good too. Anyways, and so there we've got. And your feet and your hands should be roughly the same size too. Okay. And someone mentioned drawing dust, so we can do that too, because when you're running, maybe you kick up some dust. Okay. Another thing is we've talked about shading, right? So if we decide that the sun is shining down this way, right, then we could just shade on that side, so the underneath and away from the sun. Right, there we go. Some nice long hair running. It's good. How is that? Is that good? All right. So hopefully that helps with drawing people, and you could give them a nice tracksuit. You could make it fancy, whatever brand you want, right? So that's good. But what I want to do then is I want us to just sort of play around a little bit with drawing it so that our guy looks like he's doing something or she's doing something super active, right? And so one of the things you can do is if you are drawing and you want that person to look like they're like trying to push through something. So maybe they're trying to run through a tackle in football, or really charge hard to the net, in soccer, or they're a superhero smashing through a wall, right? So you can put the head down a bit, right? So that the head isn't up, but it's down. And then you can, again, draw that stick man, right? And you kind of make that body a little bit more compact, right? But again, right, when you draw it, you want to try and keep those proportions. Okay, and so that would be kind of my basic. So, and then I just have to draw around. Maybe if I kind of make that back a little bit bent, it really gives that person the look of running strong or powerfully, right? And again, so that's what I would do if I was trying to draw someone, really trying to smash through. So you can see here the difference, in how they look. This person's working really strong. They're really compact. If I want to draw that person like they're really, maybe they're wide open running, maybe like if you've watched someone running like a marathon or an 800 meter or something like that, then it's the same thing. But what I would do is I would draw the head the other way, so kind of tilting back. And again, using those same proportions, right? I would do that. And this time, instead of being all tight, right, I would draw them with their, right? So there's the shoulder, there's the to the elbow, there's to the hand, right? Shoulder, elbow, to the hand, right? And then I would draw them, right? And to really make it something, you could extend their legs. You can make them have really long legs, right? So instead of, sort of one, you could make it like 2.5 or something like that. And then there's where the hands and feet would be. And so just draw them this way. Again, just use your light pencil drawings as kind of that underdrawing, right? You draw that little shadow underneath, right? And you can maybe draw them with a jacket on. It's still kind of cold out to go running. Right? And there you go. Draw them. Maybe they're running so hard they're really sweating. So do you see the difference? If I draw them really tight, right, like they're really like that, it's going to be really powerful, right? And everything is going that direction. But if I draw them wide open, then it looks like they're sort of running in the wide open. Like, so maybe this is if I was to draw a football, right? That's a good football runner. Whereas maybe this is someone that's running after, a soccer ball. Right, and they're trying to chase down a soccer ball. And again, and decide where that sun is coming down on them from. And just to add a little bit of shadow. You can always add, we call these motion lines, right? You can add those. You could add a little bit of dirt flying up because they're running so fast. Don't forget the shadow there. Anyways, so that is just about our time. Well, it is our time. But again, just sort of that idea that these are just different ways that you can use those shadows and use shapes, and just always be thinking about, making your body sort of in proportion. And anyways, there you go. That's Drawing with Jeff and running. Yes. Oh, I see. I forgot we have people in from England, and they're showing that they're bilingual and referring to it as soccer. Anyways, I was thinking that next time we get together, I might draw. We might do some spaceships. So I don't know about you, but I've been catching up on my Star Wars during the shelter at home stage. And so maybe we could draw something from that. So anyways, thanks very much, and we'll see you on Thursday.